Soft jihad is a quieter affair. It uses and abuses the language and the principles of democratic liberalism, not in order to secure the institutions and attitudes that make freedom possible, but, on the contrary, to undermine that freedom and to pave the way for theocratic intolerance.
Islamists with financial means have launched a legal jihad, filing frivolous and malicious lawsuits with the aim of abolishing public discourse critical of Islam and with the goal of establishing principles of Sharia law as the governing political and legal authority in the West.
What is really important is to understand that these lawsuits are being used to silence Western media because this is part of the very schooled. Most people who studied, Ben Mahfouz himself studied in the West. Most of the wealthy Saudis have studied in America and in England. They know our laws very well, and they use them in order to subvert them, in order to undermine them, and in order to silence us.
Bin Mahfouz's threat of a libel suit in Britain was sufficient to extract from Cambridge Press not only an agreement to pulp the book, but also a public apology, payment of substantial damages, legal fees, and a pledge to contact libraries worldwide with the request that they remove Alms for Jihad from their shelves. Any American author or news outlet interested in exposing terror finance networks must now fear a British suit.
They know what to do in order to silence us.
We are incredibly vulnerable, even here, with libel laws that are much better than any of these other countries, because if, as Brooke was saying, you get an organization that intentionally files with no expectation of winning, with the explicit purpose of demoralizing, then you can achieve a tremendous intimidating effect, even in a situation where the laws are as favorable as possible.
The goal, remember, of the Islamic jihadists is to impose Islamic law over the world, in which non-Muslims must live in a situation of chastened subservience in which they do not dare to speak critically about anything regarding Islam.
To accept these thuggish assaults on free speech in Canada, Britain, Europe, means to invite a world in which one day they will be under assault here, and one day very soon.
A program operating out of Northeastern University called the Open Society Program, funded by George Soros, was contracted by the FBI, of all places, to teach the FBI that it was not Islamic terrorism that was the problem since 9/11, but Islamophobia.
You try, not only do they not go after the radical Islamists, but those of us who try to stand up and resist radical Islam are in fact told by Western governments, push off or we'll arrest you.
Law enforcement itself and the government has succumbed as witting accessories to partnering with radical Islamic groups without...
So the idea that freedom can be undermined in every other part of the West and survive here is ridiculous.
So we have no due disclosure, no due diligence, no transparency, no accountability, no good governance. We have, in other words, ladies and gentlemen, suppression of information. We have encroaching or Fabian Sharia, and we have a mortal peril to the capitalist system happening under our noses.